Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in to my channel called Stories with Lonnie. I am Lonnie, and today I would like to discuss the topic of losing the life of a loved one. I'm sure that everyone has gone through the experience of losing someone dear to them, someone really close to them. If you haven't, then you're blessed. It could definitely happen to you. So I feel like it's important for us to be able to talk about the experience that we have with this topic. Because you never know, again, like what someone else is going through, and sometimes it's good just to know that someone else that or someone that you may not know is going through similar experiences, and that you are not alone. I know I have not made a video in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't honestly really know why. I just have been really stressed out, just been going through my own little things, and I just really haven't been in the mood to really sit down and try to make a video, or just to go through the process of editing. When I was younger, I had issues with depression, and sometimes, even though I'm an adult now, I still here or there deal with, that struggle of being depressed. So, when that happens, it makes it harder for me to want to do anything, including making videos. So I'm slowly working through that, but I figure that, you guys subscribe to my channel, so you obviously like what I'm talking about, so I feel like I should be able to continue to share with you guys, my life, and, the struggles that I'm going through. And lately, I haven't dealt with the loss of anyone lately here, the loss of a loved one, but I still feel like it's been something that's been on my mind. And I've dealt with the loss of a loved one a couple years ago with my grandpa on my mom's side. My grandma had married him, so we weren't blood related, but he was my grandpa, since I was a child. But then as I grew older, I didn't really talk to him much, or we lived in different states, so I wasn't as close with him. So I kind of grew apart from our relationship. So when he passed away, I was really sad, because it was someone that I loved, someone that I cared about, but I don't feel like it really hit me hard until recently. This is last year actually, so not recent, but last year, my grandpa on my dad's side, he passed away, and that was extremely difficult. So I'm gonna try not to get emotional. Sorry, you guys, if I do. But when I first found out about it, it was really hard. I got a call from my uncle, great uncle, because it was my grandpa's brother, and he was on the phone crying hysterically, and telling me what that my grandpa had a heart attack. And when I found out about it, it just, I just broke down, and I started crying hysterically. And, eventually me and him got off the phone, but I was still just shaking and crying, because, me and my grandpa, we had an amazing relationship. I didn't meet him though until I was older. I think I was in 12th grade or 11th grade, because I didn't really know my dad growing up, so I didn't, I wasn't in contact with any of my dad's family. They had found me once I was in 10th grade through Facebook, and from there we started to visit each other, and we created this bond. So my grandpa, he was an amazing man. He was very kind-hearted, and would give you the shirt off his back, if you needed it. He would always look out for the family. Very nice. If I could picture or like imagine someone who, like the perfect man, even though I know there's no such thing as a perfect, but like as a good man, my grandpa was a great man. So it was really, really hard for me. And then also because when I found out that when I had finally got in contact with my family, well, they reached out to me in 10th grade, then I had found out that my dad, he was murdered. So, he was no longer living. And that was hard for me as well, because like my whole life, I was always under the impression that my dad, he just didn't like love me enough to try to search for me, or like just didn't care about me, like anything he could do to get us back together, he didn't do. So I would always be really sad or upset, and I would always wonder like what type of characteristics, like physically, or just my personality, what type of traits that I carried, that were in common with him. Because I always felt like, because me and my mom growing up, we didn't really get along that well. So I felt like I would probably, like, if I knew my dad or if he was in my life, we probably would have been really close. I would have been like a daddy's girl. And I really believe that. But so even though I didn't really know him when I got that news, I cried hysterically as well, because it just hit me so hard, because I felt like, like I always had that sense of hope, like one day we'd be able to reunite, one day we'd be able to get back all that time that we lost. But once I found out that he was no longer living, then it's like all of that was just taken from me, and I would never have the opportunity to get to know him. So once I got to know my grandpa, his dad, then like I kind of feel like my grandpa like kind of took his place a little bit for me, and it was like he was kind of like the dad that I never had, and he would look out for me, and all that. So that was just really hard for me to deal with. And like most of the time I'm okay. I don't really think too much about the situation. But then at the same time, other days I will look out the window, or, like as I'm in the car, if me and my husband are driving somewhere, and I'm looking out the window, and then I might see something that's beautiful or something that really just warms my heart, and then it might remind me of my grandpa, and then it makes me sad all over again. Or like, let's see, there's certain, like my grandpa, he loved cooking, or certain like TV that he enjoyed watching. So just little things would remind me of him, and then it will make me sad all over again. So like people say that over time you get over things like this, like losing the life of someone you care about. But honestly, I feel like when something is that close to your heart, like you'll never really get over it. Like you'll forget about it for a little bit, and because you still have your regular life that you have to live and go through and deal with the everyday stressors. But at the same time, like every time you think about it, those same emotions that you felt, are going to resurface, and you're going to feel that same way again, and then you're going to be sad all over again, even if it's only for a little while. And what makes me so sad when it comes to my grandpa is the fact that that I'll never get to see him again. For one, my son, he's young, so it would have been nice for him to have been able to see him grow up to become an adult. But no one's life is guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So yeah, so I feel like it's also really hard for me too, because when he did pass away, he was by himself. So it makes me think you don't really know what his thoughts were, during his last moments. And for someone that you care about or you love, you would want them to, for one, have someone that they care about next to them to comfort them, and then for two, just for them to die peacefully, like without any pain, without any fear, just in, more of like an acceptance of the situation, but he was religious, and he was doing right and was a good man. So I feel like when he did pass away, that he was like content with who he was and where he was within his life. But I still would have just wanted to be there, or wish that he was still here. And even if it's only one person that you've experienced a situation with, it's always hard to deal with that. I feel like any relationship, whether it's a friendship, related to family, or, girlfriend and boyfriend, husband and wife, any relationship when it comes to an end is devastating, unless it's like toxic for you. But even then, like if there's love in the mix of that, then it's really hard as well. So saying goodbye to someone is never easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that if you're out there and you're going through something like this now, or have gone through it, that you can feel a little at ease or have some type of relief, to know that things will be okay, and it's okay to be upset. It's okay to think about that person that you lost, and to wish that they were still here. But they are in a better place. They are, like officially in peace, and to me that is what kind of makes me feel a little better about the situation. This is a really hard topic for me, so but I do want to continue to talk a little more about deeper topics, because I enjoy doing the challenge videos. You guys have really responded to those very well. However, the goal for my channel is to get more in touch with your feelings, and to talk about things that are harder to talk about, because not everybody's doing that. And regardless of who feels that it's okay to discuss, or who doesn't feel that it's okay, it's still something that we deal with, so we should be able to release it and talk about it if that's what needs to be done. All right, thank you guys.